Congratulations on being inducted into the California Wrestling Hall of Fame. I have a few questions I'd like to ask you about your career. First, what individual had the greatest impact on your wrestling career?
Okay, that's a good question. When I started wrestling, I started real late, and probably, well, without doubt, the guy that influenced me the most was my high school coach, Leon Estes. And I felt sorry for him actually, because I didn't know what a takedown was. I didn't know what a double leg was, a escape, anything. I'd never even seen a wrestling match, and I was almost 16 years old. And it was all foreign. So he had to take so much time and effort to just teach me real fundamental stuff. And he worked with me all the time on it. And I knew I was way behind. So he probably did more. And to be honest, there were 2 or 3 times I said, hey, I can't do this anymore. And I was ready to quit. And he, encouraged me and just said, no, you're not quitting. We're going to do this. And I got to give him the credit.
Who was your wrestling idol or hero growing up?
In my era, it's quite a few years ago, but it was Dan Gable. And I think most people that came out of my era, Gable he was the Babe Ruth of wrestling to me. He was just an icon, and he brought wrestling from, just hardly anything to people started noticing it. He was on Sports Illustrated, cover of Sports Illustrated, things like that. And for me, and even now till today, I'm Gable. I'm a Gable guy all the way. Dan Gable was the man.
What personal attribute contributed most to your success in the sport of wrestling?
Okay. Well, physically, I wrestled 190 pounds. And physically, I had a lot of cardio, I could go pretty well for that size. So my cardio was real good. And I was pretty strong for my age. When I got out of high school, I bench pressed 400 pounds. And I was 190 pounds. So I had those 2 things. I had a cardio, I had strength, but I was a little bit behind in just the experience of wrestling itself. But those 2, mentally, it was the idea that I had to catch up to everybody. And so I was working as hard as I could to try to bridge that gap. But those are the things I think that helped me.
What is the most outstanding memory you have from your career in the sport of wrestling?
Okay, this one, I wrestled at Cerritos College, and it was the greatest time of my life. It was in junior college at Cerritos. I had a great coach, Hal Simonek, and I got in the finals of the state tournament against a real good kid from Fresno. And it just so happened we weren't just wrestling for our individual state titles. Whoever won that would win the team title. So there was a lot of pressure. And I ended up winning that match. We won the team title. I won it, and I got MVP of the tournament. That was probably the most memorable because it meant a lot to a lot of people, not just me, but the other guys on the team. I would say that was it.
Throughout your wrestling career, what is the single most memorable match or event?
Okay. I was the California Junior College MVP at 190. I wrestled the Division I NCAA champion that was MVP of that tournament. And I was always very proud to come out of the JCs. I wanted everybody that I wrestled in college to know that I came from California JCs. And in that match, I ended up winning. And that to me, kind of said, hey, we could compete with anybody. And so that was probably my most individual memorable.
What made you get involved in the sport of wrestling?
Okay. My high school coach, back to Coach Estes, he was a football coach and a wrestling coach. And he believed that to have a great football team, you had to have wrestlers. So he, most of us guys that played football, he would make us wrestle. And we didn't have much of a choice, you know, and we had a lot of wrestlers on the team. That football team went undefeated my senior year. And he, I thought I was a football player. And I didn't, you know, wrestling was secondary, but he made us wrestle or we weren't playing football. And it ended up, I was better at wrestling. You know, it turned out to be my sport. But it started out, we all wrestled because we wanted to play football. And then several guys on that wrestling team ended up going to college to wrestle. So that's kind of how that happened.
If you had the opportunity to start your career over again, is there anything you would change?
This is the easiest question of all. I would start way younger than I did. I mean, even if I, you know, like I said, I was almost 16. I see kids nowadays that start at 3 or 4 years old. My grandkids started at 3. So I look back and I think that's the one thing I could change. It would have been starting much earlier. It would have been easier.
What would you like people to remember about you?
Okay. I thought about that, and you know, here's what I think. I got a second chance because when I got out of high school, I wasn't being recruited by anybody. I had no offers to go anywhere. And I got a call from the junior college and said, hey, we want you to try out. And from that, I got that second chance. Otherwise, my career was over at high school. And so that was huge for me. And I want to be, you know, just be known as someone who took advantage of that second chance. You know, in my college career, I won over 100 collegiate matches. I beat 10 national champions. I was a 2-time All-American, and I won the California State Championship. None of it would have happened if there wouldn't have been an opportunity for me to go to a JC or somewhere where I could continue. Because, like I say, when I graduated from high school, I figured I was done, and then that happened. And so I would like to be known as someone who took that opportunity and went as far as I could with it. So.
Well, again, thank you for all you've done for wrestling, and congratulations on being inducted into the California Wrestling
Alan.
Hall of Fame.
I appreciate it. Thank you.